Hey everybody, Charlie here. Welcome back to Prison Architect. Looks to me like our people are enjoying their time in the yard. And so is our green leader. Yeah, Duncan. I've brought him into maximum security. I figured, Blue's been taking over territory. They've been kind of running the show here. There's been a little bit of an imbalance in power here. So I figured, you know what? Since we got green leader in our prison too, why don't we give him an opportunity to kind of even the odds, right? We don't want Blue to get super far ahead. I kind of messed up and didn't see that their leader was in here, and they got a few extra recruits and got their lieutenants. So Duncan here is kind of like allowed to be in this zone temporarily until he can recruit himself a little bit more muscle. All right, I'm gonna allow it. Right, and this is what I mean by, well, actually, I never even talked about it yet, did I? I want to keep a balance of power in the prison too. I don't want one gang to rule the world, right? So, if it gets out of control, then fine. And if Red Leader comes into the prison on a bus, which we just got another intake, so our guards are doing their thing here. Got a couple extra people there. Didn't really get anybody super dangerous on the bus, thankfully. But if Red Leader comes in on a bus soon, I will leave him in the general population until such time as he can somewhat even the odds. And then we're gonna control it. We gotta control the gang population, all right? Have our gang spayed or neutered, We're gonna Bob Barker this. That doesn't really work, does it? I don't think so. Okay, we got 6 people who have passed foundation education. 6. That's a 46% pass rate, so that's not great. But with 12 people interested and 6 people taking the course, if we can get 4 out of these 6 to pass, we already have a person who's passed Gen Ed. We got 1 person that finished the course, and that person passed. So good stuff. We're gonna take this off there because it's expensive. So we got that now. Foundation education is the focus, because this is a big payday, $40,000 if 4 of these guys can pass the course. So let's see what we got going on in here. We got a couple people in here, right? What are your chances of success? Yeah, it's not bad RNG right there. It's like 50-50 chance. By the time this fills up, by the time this goes, if you're wondering how to read this, the success chance fills up as they are in attendance. And you can also hover over them. You can see that their concentration is excellent. Their understanding is good. They have a 39% attendance rate and 40% chance of success. So the chances of their success is outpacing their attendance. Very good. Take a look at this person. While they're in class, you can hover over them. But after class is done, you can't see that. You can't do that anymore. This guy's chances is really good. This guy's chances not so good. We got somebody in protective custody that's just sort of hanging out in here. That's interesting. Excuse me. Guards, can one of you handle this, please? This guy's needs is all over the map, man. In any case, what we want to see, right, is high success chances for as many prisoners as possible. And this guy's definitely passing, so awesome. And that's all done kind of, you want to limit suppression. When you suppress your prisoners, they have lower concentration, they're just less likely to be successful. Now, suppression is kind of coming in multiple forms, but in general, suppression happens in a radius. So, for example, this PA system, it's putting suppression in the yard. Prisoners will kind of feel a little bit suppressed as they come out of the yard, but the further away they get away from this yard, the longer time they spend away from this yard, the lower their suppression rating, and ultimately, the more they'll be able to concentrate, which is why I have the classrooms. This is on purpose. The classrooms are away from all the mechanisms that would generate suppression. It's in a low to medium wing that doesn't have a whole lot of guard presence. There is a little bit of dogs here, right? There are some guards, but there's no guards in the classroom because that's going to lower their concentration. What is going on with this guy? Can I not get a guard to, like, get this guy out of here? Like, he's just bugged into the wall. There we go. Get him out of here. Come on now. In any case, so I'm going to start going through, because I've had an increase in number of people who are like maybe new to Prison Architect, which is fantastic. I'd like to remind Paradox that that was probably the reason why you, you know, decided to work with me. I bring new people to the game, okay? It's not true. You guys honestly didn't come here because of me. You were come here because you were interested and you just happened to find me, which I am super stoked about, by the way. But I'm not going to take credit for it. So anyway, if for newer players, right, you want to limit suppression if you want to be successful in your programs. And that's kind of what that is. Now, in the yard, suppression is a good thing because you don't want prisoners kicking off. You tend to have a lot of people in one small area. You don't want people getting kicked off. I've also revised the yard. You can see, added an extra tire apparatus, a couple of dumbbell racks, extra weight benches, punching bags are still here. And of course, there's the track for them to run around in. So there's a bunch of stuff there too. Gymnasium also right here. And I have a guard presence in this gymnasium now. There's patrols. So hopefully Blue and, you know, Blue can't take it over. Now, here's the inefficiencies. And you might think, maybe some of you might think, Charlie, how come you're not using the deployment scheduler? That's this thing right here. Why are you not using this? All of your guards are always situated in these places that you're putting them 24/7. That's not very efficient. And you're right, it's not. The reason why I'm not doing it is because I haven't got what I call a finalized regime. I have one that I think works pretty well, but it's not finalized. And the more I move things around and shift the regime around, the more I have to piddle with the deployment scheduler. Yeah, you could micromanage it that way. Every single time you change the regime, you can change this. You can do that. I've opted not to do that. I've opted to say, hey, when I got a finalized regime, then I'll spend a ton of time digging right into the core of it, and I'll get that done. But until then, I'm not going to bother with it. And does that mean that there's some parts of my prison that have more guards than necessary? Yeah, it does. But it doesn't bother me much. I'm acknowledging how it works. There you go. Not going to worry about it. Because I got better things to do, okay, than to piddle around with that. I got a prison to build, okay? Everyone's like, this is part of building a prison. Yes. Okay. But I'm also making a video series, and time, it takes time. Why is there a double wall? Double wall all the way. Why is that a thing? I don't remember that. Well, we're going to fix it anyway, because we're going to go with slums. You're like, okay, so this long-term investment is coming in 23 minutes. That's going to kick my money up. And that is going to be enough to pay off this loan all the way. Should I expand now or pay this loan off? You know? Like, pay this off. Now I've got 8,700. We'll zoom time ahead. Now I've got 27 grand. You know? So, I don't know. Also, I did an intake on Criminally Insane. Just to get a few more in, right? That's another reason why my money was up. Got a few more. And trying to get a feel for where they all are. Can't do that there. There we go. They're all in here. So now we have 40 of them. Still have a capacity for 53. It's good to have an access capacity for these guys because other prisoners that you bring in can become criminally insane. You know, Duncan, I get a feeling like you just don't understand how this works. You're sitting next to other gang members, just taunting them, you know? You're just taunting this guy. Look at this. He is part of Blue Gang, but he's got no reputations. Like, he's not super strong, tough, or anything. And then Duncan's just going to sit there next to him, you know? Whatever. It's kind of nuts. But I think Duncan is playing me, guys. I think he knows. I think he knows that as soon as he gets a lieutenant, he's going back in Supermax. Because I would think he would have done that already. Oh. Oh. He didn't even get out of his cell. Bye, Simon. Didn't even get out of his cell. What a failure. I do need to see... You see now it's sleep time. He didn't recruit anybody. He's getting processed. Wait, is he... Escort to solitary. Oh, he's going to be punished. All right, let's end his punishment. And I also need to do the same thing with Petite here as soon as these gets processed. Because I believe that will cause him to get... to be punished as well. Interestingly, I'm down to 6 guards. 5 free guards. You know, it's obviously because of some of the inefficiencies, right? Like, patrols, right? Like, I don't need this many guards on patrol. But they're actually not on patrol, right? They're over on break. So, whatever. But if I was to go... If I was to give in to the policy... Nope, wait, it's not policy. It's, needs. Staff needs. And this is all glitched out until I unpause. It's kind of a weird thing. Wish they would have fixed that. Let's bring it down to 65%. Okay. Does that free up any guards? Not really. I'm just looking for them to process the gang leaders so I can forgive them. I don't know what you did, Rakuso, but you're just stuck here. Like, you're not being processed either. It's a little bit weird. Like, my guards just aren't doing anything. So, I am going to let them through and allow them to get people processed. And I noticed also protective custody doesn't have their own solitary. Now, I've also expanded solitary confinement. So, I've brought it up to here, right? There's extra cells here, you may have noticed. And that's because I'm preparing a shift in this area. I would like to create a row of cells here and a hallway here that takes them down through this area and then opens up to more right here. And that shift is going to remove some solitary cells. So I've expanded solitary to be up in this area a little bit more. And then I can also maybe get it to be right here. There's a little bit of an open space here. This is why, by the way, I leave these open spaces. It gives you flexibility later to just build onto whatever your plans are, you know? Like, it'd be really wall heavy, quote unquote, but if I wanted more solitary cells in a pinch, there you go. More solitary right here. You know what I mean? Like, it just boom, 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 boom. You just get more solitary in this little area. It opens up possibilities. Same thing with this cleaning cupboard right now. If I wanted to expand it up like this, now I have a shop. And that shop accesses with the yard, which is fantastic, except for the part where, you know, no other regime can actually get in here to help them out. Again, with prisoners not being processed, I think I just need more guards. So we're going to hire 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That was 9. 10. We're going to hire 10 guards. And hopefully that means they will get in here and get the job done. And it also means we're going to need more tasers. But okay, so reform through education initiative and cell block E are the only things left because we got paid our long-term investment. I have some long-term investments. And has anyone been playing the stock market during all this turmoil? I hope you guys are being safe with, you know, the whole COVID thing and, you know, staying inside and wearing masks and all that stuff, right? Like, it's just vital. It's just essential at this point to do that. To protect yourself, really. It's yeah, to protect other people, but if you're not going to protect other people, at least protect yourself. So I hope you guys are, and, you know, chilling. It's been really difficult. Because, like, if somebody like me, right, who works from home anyway, it's you would think it'd be fine. And honestly, you probably think that because everyone is staying home, that, you know, my channel is gonna do naturally better. But like, I have mixed results with that, actually. I'm gonna expand the padded floor a little bit here. This whole thing is almost all padded, by the way. I keep chipping away at this a little bit because it's expensive, but I keep chipping away at this, and now we only have this little hall here and this little section here, you know? And then... Uh-oh. He's been upgraded again. What did you do? Duncan, what did you do? Maximum. Just max him. All right, he's being brought back in here, but I want him to go maximum just so I can, again, I want to even the odds with the gangs. If he's not going to be a stupid gang leader and actually recruit somebody, get yourself a deputy so that your people can try to contest territory, okay? That's all I want you to do. As soon as you hire a deputy, as soon as you, lieutenant, whatever you want to call it, as soon as you get a lieutenant, you're going right back in here permanently. What's going on here? How come you're in? Oh, you know what? We don't actually have enough. We don't have enough solitary cells for this, guys. No way. So we're going to get another solitary cell set up. And I think it's just going to be small ones. I don't need this to be big. These guys deserve it. So we're going to go with a solitary door. Let's say there. And... well, we'll just have a little one. We'll have a little one here for now. We'll say... I need to expand the foundation first, so... it'll be like that. And then that door is still installed queued, so this will be solitary here. Right there. And then we can probably have some over here in this area. Or back in here. Yeah, back in here. Because I'm not going to... well, no, because I'm expanding this. This is not going to be open anymore. This is going to be part of medium security moving through here. So probably the best bet would maybe be to eliminate these two cells and make that happen. I think so. Let's eliminate these cells. We're going to dismantle all these objects. They'll be used again in the future, I'm sure. Just dismantle all of this stuff. Don't dismantle anything in here. Also, don't dismantle... actually, yes. Dismantle the doors because we're going to use them on the solitary cells anyway. But if we get rid of all this stuff, we can expand solitary to be 1, 2... It's not clean, but it'll happen. So it's lockup time, shower time. Perfect time to recruit a buddy is during shower time. It's perfect time. Unless you get up... seriously, man. Quit it. Stop getting upgraded. Stop acting up. Just... like, what are you doing? Murder. You keep murdering people. It's this combination of extremely volatile, extremely deadly. It's terrible. They'll kick off for no reason and they'll kill people. And this is the same combination that got Scott Gordon to basically be in our prison forever. Right? 222 years Duncan is up now. Because when you commit murder, it adds to your sentence. Every time you commit murder, it adds 25 years to your sentence. And it's just going to compound. He's never going to leave. You know? To where... well, unless the random event kicks in and he ends up being a witness. But other than that, like, he's not getting out of here. Oh, boy. So that whole deal where you really wanted to transfer. See, now you're starving. Because you keep acting up. Okay? That's why you're starving. If you would stop acting up, you wouldn't have a problem. Permanent lockdown. Get him back to his cell, please. So that we can get him... food. like seriously, what is going on here? 16 gang members. That would be Blue Gang. Dowell is... wow, Dowell is deputy. Okay, that's useless for you, but all right. Or lieutenant, whatever you want to call it. Here, end punishment. Okay, can the gangs just cool it now, please? Can everyone just cool it? Tell me you're going for recruitment. Like... all you need to do is just go in and recruit somebody, man. Jesus. He's a snitch, right? Yeah. He's a snitch. I missed him. My bad. Who are you? Oh, right. That's that guy that's not... yeah, Steven. He's not allowed out of his cell, but he's not volatile enough to where it matters to put him in the regular old... Supermax over here. All right, I need to let this run just a little bit. We're up to 15 grand. That's only 10 grand shy of what I need to pay off the loan entirely. And again, if we could just get these guys to pass foundation education. This guy's ready to go to medium sec. Okay, we'll let that happen. These guys are ready to go to minimum sec. Okay, we'll let that happen. And that's not happening, so good luck with that. You just keep acting up, so no thanks. I wonder if I should make it... Oh, we don't have a mailroom yet. Okay, so I've been thinking about where do I want to put the mailroom, right? And there's two different approaches to the mailroom. You can either have it where prisoners are helping you sort it, which is going to speed up everything, and it makes it much more efficient. And you don't need to hire guards, which you are paying expensively, to do that mail. You can have prisoners do it, which is much cheaper. The problem with it, though, is that the mailroom is a great place to smuggle in contraband. And so if you have prisoners handling the mail, you could get prisoners bringing contraband in. Now, I am going to do a dangerous maneuver. Since everybody's in lockup right now, I'm going to do a shakedown. It's kind of the equivalent of doing it at night if everyone's in lockup. I have this period. I tend to do this with all my prisons. There's 1 hour where everyone is locked down. It's like a clean reset period. In this case, it's 9 a.m. So I'm going to do a shakedown and uncover a whole bunch of stuff at 9 a.m. Right? Now, eventually, you know, they're going to be leaving their cells, but I'm going to extend it just a little bit. I'm just going to go bang up and extend this just a tad so I can complete this search. So yeah, this is digging into some of their free time. And then we'll go ahead and stop the bang up. So the bang up shouldn't be on. Yep, they're allowed to go now. And we'll go ahead and just stop the shakedown too. I don't want to cause any problems, any trouble, any big fights. But I got a lot of contraband in that little time. If I would have started it right at 8:50 or something, that would have been better. But now we got people going to the workshop and stuff. Hello, Instigator. Permanent lockdown. Aw. Look how sad he is. Hale. Duncan Hale. What is the deal with Duncans, man? This is like the most popular name in the game. Duncan Hale. I don't understand. I'm not kidding. Seriously, Oprah came by and said, you get a Duncan and you get a Duncan. Okay, we have ourselves a deputy. So, Mr. Connigan phoning home to his family. Back to Supermax with you, sir. Where'd he go? Poof, he's gone. There he is. Back to Supermax with you. He's like, nah, man. I'm gonna run around this track before I lose it. Back to Supermax. Okay, so we've evened the odds a little bit, right? Green Gang now has themselves a lieutenant, which means they can now be organized. There's 11 members, but as we bring more people on the bus, their numbers can grow. But at least there's a little bit more equality, a little bit more competition for Blue, who's already managed to gather $35 in their gang fund. So get working on it. And then Red Gang doesn't have a leader yet. That's going to get solved when we intake more. But we still have 52... we still have 52 maximum prisoners. So I think I want to bring in more maximums, but I need to expand the capacity for it. And I was kind of hoping that this would be the video where we're debt-free. Just to show everyone it all worked out. You don't have to worry about, you know, we're not going to run out of money. We managed it okay, right? $31,000 cash flow a day is freaking bitchin'. Excuse me, Warden? One of our more charismatic inmates had become something of a religious infid... Oh, okay, I see. So, with a new religious evangelist, others will be conformed to their way of thinking. So, one of our... Is it you? One of our criminally insane has now become super religious. And he's going to preach religion to the rest of the wing. And that is going to create only a slight problem because more people will have a bigger religious need, right? There'll be a bigger spiritual need. We can solve that a little bit. It's actually a little bit easier than you might think. We're going to take and get prayer mats. Rather than like trying to find this guy and isolate him, I'm going to introduce prayer mats directly into their cells. This is $50 per cell. And since there's all this other stuff is obstructed, we can just drag. $50 per cell. They will use this for their religious needs during their lockup periods. So you'll find them praying in their cells. And that takes care of their spiritual needs pretty fast. I think that's pretty much everybody. We got one here. Seems good. And you know what? In the padded holding cell, just in case, we'll put like one there and one there. And one there. I'll put against the walls. Okay, so that should take care of all like religious need problems, basically. From that guy. And I still don't know which one he is. Unless the warden was... Wait. Did the warden zoom in on the wrong wing? I probably should have found... Normally, I would locate who that is first. Extremely volatile. I haven't discovered who it is. It's probably right in front of my face, and I just don't see it. Well, in any case... Oh, here he is. Preacher. Yeah. Here he is. Adam Underwood. He's actually eligible for parole soon. But the preacher is extremely charismatic and is able to convert others to their religion, giving them the spirituality need. So a lot of prisoners don't actually have a spirituality need, like off the bat or by default. But if you have a preacher in your prison, they'll spread spirituality need to other prisoners, and your need for places like, say, for example, your chapel. Chapels will become much more populated, and the programs, those who are interested in the spiritual guidance, will go up. Now, I don't like the spiritual guidance. I don't like having this program, so I usually don't employ this. Because if people are doing spiritual guidance, they're coming to a chapel, which is really effective for the spirituality need. But when they come to the chapel, they're not working in the workshop. They're not cleaning. They're not working in the kitchen, right? It's replacing where they would otherwise be. And I don't like that. I want them to be in other places. I don't want them to be in the chapel. So I don't tend to do that. Instead, my fix for it is just putting these $50 prayer mats directly in the cells. And then whenever it's a lockup time, you'll find prisoners are praying in their cells. And that's how we're going to solve that problem. So, okay then. So, $23,000. We've been exporting beds. I love it. I love it when we export beds. Is the, where is it? Programs. Foundation Education is going on right now. I want to know if any of you guys are going to pass, man. 100% chance. That's one. 53%. That's pretty good. It's not the best, but it's pretty good. Come on, guys. I need you to pass. I have a 60% on this right now. Harris should pass. His attendance is 72. I think their attendance has to get to 100%. Yeah, he should be after the... Yeah, there it is. Done. So, like, when that happens, bam! 90%! One more person needs to pass. Just one more. Oh, Foundation Education. So good. Thank you. And when they pass programs, you might be thinking, like, what's the benefit to offering education to your prisoners, right? When they pass programs, that's a huge bump to their reform, right? It takes their chances of reoffending way down, right? This reform rating is huge. If you can bring this up, it's great. So if I have... Where's that guy that just passed this? I probably should have found him beforehand. All right, let's take these guys, like Ross, for example. Served 6.7 in on 9 years, 2% chance. He's got a maxed out reform, right? And the more percentage of their stay they spent working, the more they're reformed as well. So all of these things factor into this reoffending chance. This is the number you want to reach for all these prisoners, because you're getting paid the same amount of money for every prisoner in your prison, right? If you can get a prisoner released early on good behavior because of reform or whatever, you get a bonus of $3,000 for that prisoner. That is a lot of money when you consider that that's as much as it would take as you'd be paid for taking in a criminally insane. So let's say we take a max set prisoner. Let's walk through the goal. We take a maximum security prisoner, okay? We get $1,000 for that prisoner. Now, with 147 prisoners in our prison, financially, we're getting 33,100. It's a little bit hard to factor that in, but you're getting the same amount for all your prisoners. So every day that ticks by, you're getting paid because you're taking care of that prisoner. And it's costing you money because you have to pay for the facilities and the staff, right? But after all of this time of being in your establishment, they get out early because of things that you did, because of things like working in the workshop, which is also making you money, right? Then they get out, pay you another $3,000, which is, 3 times what they paid us when they came in here. We're making profits on prisoners. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the private prison industry in a nutshell. I hope you enjoyed my little demonstration on the ethical dilemmas and the conflicts of interest involved in keeping prisoners in your prison for as long as possible. You may have heard me say things like, "Oh man," this was probably last season or seasons before this, right? I haven't really said it much this season, but there'll be people who have passed workshop carpentry apprenticeship, and as soon as they pass, it's like, "Yeah, we got a carpenter in here. That's awesome. $400 for each bed. It's fantastic." And then it happens, right? You actually, because we have more carpenters now, I should probably have more benches for this because we have more. So I'm gonna put one there, and I'll put one here too. 2 additional benches. These are nice. They cost a bunch, but they don't take any power, so it's really nice that way. Hopefully get those installed, and we'll have even more carpenters working. But the point of this, rounding around, right, is that I'll see somebody, and it's like, "Yeah, they passed carpentry apprenticeship. It's so great." And I'll see they have a 2% chance of reoffending because it's awesome, and then they're eligible for parole. And I'm like, no parole for this person. Because if they get parole, yeah, they get me $3,000, but every bed they make is $400. They're actually more valuable to me over time, staying in the prison, making me beds, right? It's way better that way. Oh well. Hey, look, $26,000. Do you know what that means? It means we are now, $50 short is what we are. But you know what? We'll pay off 25 grand of it. And now we're basically debt-free. Basically debt-free, guys. Look at that. We actually, as soon as we, bam, done. We are now debt-free. We have $166 to our name and no loan. And then there's the exports of the beds. It's so strong. So yeah, this is like your cream of the crop. You really, really want this working. And then that plus forestry together, these two things together, it's really good. It's really good. So yeah, we have a yard here for protective custody too, by the way, if you guys didn't see that. I think I did this a little bit like right off camera, but we have a little bit of a yard. It's really simple. Like it's just the, barbed wire fence combined with 2 tire apparatuses and a track. And like we could put phones in here if we want to. Now, for the phones, I had a question about phones. Why don't you tap your phones? Okay? In this situation, it's a good idea because the yard is so close to the exterior wall. So I might change the location of this yard or bring it further back. But The reason why I don't necessarily tap phones is because my prisoners are never allowed an opportunity to get contraband from over the fence. When they're using their phone, and they're talking to their family, they might be organizing a visitation or something like that. But the biggest worry is that they're going to organize a drop for contraband. Now, if you're diligent in finding the contraband, for example, shakedown, if you're diligent in finding the contraband, it doesn't matter as much. But if your prisoners are not having their phone monitored and they're allowed to go near the fence, in this case, this would qualify as near the fence. Their loved ones, if you will, whoever they're talking to, they may throw contraband that they want over the fence. And so they'll be organizing a drop. And you'll see that when you have your informants, right? So Adam Gibbs, for example, we're going to bring him back in. 89% coverage now. We're going to bring him back into security, and he's going to tell us all the things that are going on. But one of the things he might also tell us is where some drops are maybe scheduled. And if these guys, for example, talk on the phone and they've worked out a drop where they're like, hey, I want, drugs. I really need cigarettes. Can you throw them over the fence for me? Do it over here. They'll organize it, and you'll find that there's like a thing over here. And you'll wonder, why is there cigarettes over there? Well, it's because they talked on the phone and they organized this drop. Their family or whatever can throw it over the fence from the outside, and then they are going to run over here and grab it and run back. They can now do that because this is close enough now. They can now do that directly into this yard now. So it becomes kind of this becomes kind of ineffective. But again, as long as you're diligent in finding this stuff, it's not that big of a deal. Which leads me to the thing I forgot to do, which is metal detectors right there. And then I need to hook them up to power, which I ran the power for it, but I never hooked it up. Okay. But if you're diligent in finding these guys, high tunnels, then it doesn't really matter that much. And what brings me to that is, like, if shakedowns are free, they don't cost you any money, right? Searching prisoners, it's free. Dogs patrolling, you have them anyway. They're going to sniff things. It's all going to work itself out. But if you put a phone monitor, why are you the way you are? If you put a phone monitor in here, it's going to cost you money to buy the phone monitor. Then it's going to cost you power to run it. Then it's going to cost you ongoing money when you have a trained guard who you've paid for body armor and a taser, as well as you're paying for their staff needs and potentially paying for higher wages if you have a lot of people who have died on duty. Because you can see right now, it says staff are not paid enough, but because the overwhelming majority of my staff are happy with their jobs, because I'm treating them well, because I allow them to take breaks when they need to, all that stuff, I don't actually need to pay them more money to keep their morale at 100%. It's not until more staff die. You keep getting more staff dying, it becomes a more hazardous work condition, then you have to pay them more. And if you're wondering, how do I pay them more? It's in policy, at least it used to be. And it's not anymore. Okay, cool. Maybe it wasn't in policy. Maybe it was in needs. I actually don't remember what it is. Oh, finance. Okay, fair enough. It's in finance. Staff pay. You just simply cut their salary by 10% or raise it by 10%. And you just have to keep doing that. Right now, we're not raising it. But keep in mind that this is exponential. The later in the game you do this, the more it's going to go up for your costs. But hopefully you have the money and the income to manage it. Like in this case, I'm profiting $27,000 a day. So I could afford to raise their salary probably 50% and still be profitable. But I don't want to. So I treat them better. I keep them treated better with being able to take breaks. So I'm going to go 70% here. I'm going to go 70%. 85 was apparently too much. Oh, well. Anyway, guys, I'm going to leave this video here. It's been about, what, 40 minutes or so? I don't know. We are 90% done with the foundation education. This is going to be worth 40 grand. And then, like, that combined with the expansion of maximum security, which is going to allow us to bring in another $20,000 worth of maximum security prisoners, that will pay for this expansion down here, which will allow us to bring in a whole bunch more medium security prisoners. That will pay for the expansion down here, which allows us to cater to more of the low security prisoners. See what I'm saying? It's going to escalate, and we're going to all the way around, and then we can start talking about death row.